This will be an ongoing confession. Do I feel guilty in a way? Yes. Do I feel guilty in the way that you might feel guilt if you had killed someone? Not yet, but that still may come. There's that, and there's the cynical notion that everyone gets caught eventually. We might be long dead of old age or revenged by the time that happens, but somebody will figure it out. I want there to be a record somewhere of what transpired, something written as it happens, so that you'll know that it's not a story spun later to save our collective asses from the electric chair. I want you innocents to understand in real time how a man becomes a serial killer. It is so much harder and so much easier than you will ever comprehend. The cops do have one thing right. It does start with a motive, unless you're a nut job. One person does not kill another person without a reason. Hell, I can't even go to the gym without proper motivation. So the thought of someone murdering nonsensically just seems insane. Of course, I do go to the gym because I do have proper motivation. And we have murdered on the same principle. In fact, it started with a question of principle. There were the three of us, still nursing beers after everyone else had gone home. We sat in the rear of the bar, conversing over the shit jobs we'd have to go back to the next morning. This confession is for me, not for our joke of a justice system. So I'll call my table mates that night Jake and Tom. I didn't know them well, but that was part of how it all began. Staring down at his beer, Jake asked, "You hear about that kid who got out of doing jail time because he had influenza?" Tom nodded along with his words. "Assholes are above the law." I was fairly drunk and extremely in agreement, so I said, "Shit like that is how mob justice starts. Wish I could get some mob justice where I work," Jake muttered. "My boss straight up steals from us, messes with our hours. Caught him with his hand in my jacket pocket in the back room once. But there's not shit I can do about it. If I call the cops, he'll just tell them I'm a thief and I'll go to prison. Game over, man." Hunched low from drunkenness, Tom stared up from over his beer. Somebody should beat the shit out of those guys. Send them a message. Weasels like that, wise them up. Jake's gaze became dangerously distant. In a low and hate-filled voice, he said, "Let's do it." "What? Come on. We're not serious." "I am. We'll do it just like in the movies. You guys beat up my boss, and I'll do yours." Silence fell over the table as Tom and I stared at him. He looked deadly serious. After a moment, I said, "Wait. The three random bosses, getting murdered, they would connect us, I don't know." Jake shot back, his eyes hard. "We're not Facebook friends, and I don't fucking tweet. I've ran into you guys twice at random parties, by random people. We have no connection. At least none that any of them will see." "Did you pay with a credit card? At the bar?" I asked. "Not yet. I'll pay with cash. And you guys both pay with cash too. Let's do this." He didn't sound drunk or even mildly crazy. The more we worked through the details, the more I thought of this really happening. My boss getting what was coming to him started to sound actually more appealing. More than that, I would get a chance to assault someone else's asshole boss, take out a little frustration, send a message. But we couldn't actually get away with this. Could we? "Research," Tom interrupted meekly. We both looked at him and waited. He sat a little taller in his chair, and spoke quickly. We watch every single episode of CSI and Google it. On computers in the library, I interrupted. And no checking out books, no record. We don't make any decisions until we know everything there is to know. We need to know everything about pulling off a crime like this. It has to be airtight. Jake nodded along with this, and a slow grin spread across his face. I knew there was a reason I liked you too. Shake on it. Research. His voice went low. And we'll meet at the bar down the street in 3 weeks. Friday, 8 p.m. It'll be crowded and nobody will recognize or remember us. Flanagan's? Tom asked. No, the other direction. The sports pub? Yeah, that one. My pulse raced to a roar in my ears. Was this actually going to happen? Maybe not, but it was at least nice to fantasize about. Friday, 8 p.m., 3 weeks from now. Shake on it, Jake said again. And we did. You see, that's the first step towards serial murder, co-conspirators. They can't just be anybody. You have to understand their ideologies. You have to know why they'll actually do this with you, even if you don't truly know the men themselves. No one can ever really know another human being, really, but ideologies run strong and deep and are furious. No man has ever killed another man without an ideology involved. We reminded each other to be smart and parted ways. I went home and almost loaded up on CSI on Netflix. I stopped myself just short of doing so. How suspicious would that be if I just started binge watching all these criminal shows just before my boss got beaten up? No trace of forensic evidence left behind. And besides, Netflix only had those shitty spin-offs anyway. I could watch it at the library, but no, that would mean 100 hours of just sitting there. I would be remembered, and they might keep a log of traffic. How could one watch a show without leaving record? Of course, DVDs. I went to every rundown video and DVD shop in the city and paid cash for every crime-related show I could find. Then, each night after work, I got down to it.